Hey guys, it's me Peyton here, back with another video. I hope you all are well and having a good, fantastic day. Today for Mental Health Monday, I thought that I would talk about a story time that I really thought I would never, wow, how many times did I really say ever? That was probably really fucking annoying, I'm sorry. But really tell on this channel because of the fact that I didn't want it to discourage anybody from getting help for self-harm. Because this story time is about the first time I went to the ER for self-harm. Before we get started in today's video, I just wanted to say don't ever let anything discourage you from getting help for any type of mental health concern or mental illness that you may be battling or struggling with. Because I may have had some bad experiences with one mental health worker, but I've had some good experiences with other mental health workers. So it really depends if you get somebody that hates their job or somebody that really understands what you're going through. Anyway, let's get started. We'd like to put a trigger warning and a content warning on this video because we will be talking about triggering and just sensitive topics like suicide and self-harm and hospitals and psych wards and stuff like that. And so if those topics trigger you, please, I care so much about you and I don't want you guys triggering yourself. I know we have a habit of watching things that can trigger us, but it can be so unhealthy for us. So please click off and click on another one of my videos. I will put a playlist of all my videos up here if you guys would like to check them out. And yeah, so let's actually now get into the story time. Okay, so back to when I was 16 or 17. This is when I went to adult ed and I lived with my aunt and my grandma and my grandpa and my cousin. I ended up going to school on a snow day because that morning I told my aunt that I was cutting again and she didn't want me home on a snow day with my grandma and my grandpa, and so she took me into work with her, called the school to see if there was any teachers in, and so I just decided to go into school because I didn't want to chill at my aunt's office. Well, that whole morning, I felt like she hated me, and I felt like I did something wrong, and that I was a fuck-up, and that I was a mistake. And, you know, one more wrong move, and she was going to get rid of me. And so I went into school, and all I remember is my teacher, Greg, said he was going upstairs to cook lunch, and he asked me if I wanted anything, and I said no, because I was not hungry. And this was at a time where I was really battling my eating disorder. I was more dealing with a lot of mental stuff with my eating disorder, but I was still battling my eating disorder really bad. And so I took that opportunity when he went upstairs and went into the bathroom and ended up hurting myself. Now, to be fair, I told the hospital it was not a suicide attempt, even though it was a suicide attempt. And so, yeah, I know that if I told them it was a suicide attempt, I would have gotten admitted to the psych ward and I would have actually gotten the help that I may have needed in that time. But if I was 16, it was before my 17th birthday, and nothing was ruining my first birthday with my siblings that I had for a while, that I, haven't had for a while, and I really missed it, so I was really excited because I got to see my siblings for my birthday. Okay, so let's get back on topic because that was a little very off topic, but it's okay to be off topic once in a while. But yeah, so I remember I went unconscious and I gained consciousness, and the ambulance showed up and took me to our local hospital. Now, small town, they don't really assess or really understand mental health as the city really does, you know. And so they basically said to us that we should go down to Lindsay so they can assess our concerns a little more, because of the fact that they really didn't know what to do. And when they called up their psych unit, they said that they wanted me to go in just so they could assess the situation more. Now, this was 2 hours, I think, away. It was at least an hour and a half. That's all I can remember. I'm really bad at times. And so when we were driving an hour and a half, I would feel like it was 2 hours. So I say it was 2 hours, but it really probably wasn't a 2 hour drive. It was more like an hour and a half drive. But basically, when we got to Lindsay, we waited and waited and waited. And then when finally we got seen by the mental health worker that was working for the kind of the night, who decides if you get admitted or not, or basically like what the next kind of step is. Now, I was just in their psych unit literally 2 weeks ago, and so it was a really weird time, and I know that a lot of people were shocked to see me back. And so, like, I kind of understand why they wouldn't admit me, but the fact is what this worker said to me that was so invalidating, and that honestly, if I could, I would have probably gotten her fired, but I chose to keep my mouth shut. Anyway, and I'm still going to keep my mouth shut because that hospital saved my life a lot when I was actually received help. Anyway, and when we saw this lady, she basically made me go in and talk on my own without my aunt first so she could get my side, and then my aunt came in and told her side and my side, and I basically told her like it was self-harm and I just couldn't cope, things were getting too much, and then she asked me what I meant by that, and I explained that sometimes I don't know how to cope with life, and it's the truth. And when you're dealing with trauma on top of all like bullying and all this kind of shit, and being in a new kind of city, it's just like so overwhelming. And she looked at me and she was like, well, you were just here for 2 weeks, so it's obvious we were no help. And plus, we don't admit for people for self-harm, because 9 times out of 10, people who self-harm, it's a cry for help, or it's for attention. And we don't take that kind of cry for help here. And when she said this, I remember I worked really hard to control my impulses because I wanted to go off on her. I wanted to look at her and be like, you don't know what I've been through. Okay? Period. I hardly trust anybody in this ward, and so I hardly told anyone kinda my past or kinda anything really about what kinda was going on in my head. And so you don't know me. You don't know why I self-harm. You don't know anything about self-harm, and miserable people who hate their job should not be working in the mental health system. But I didn't. My aunt was just like, okay, have a nice night, and we drove home. I was really lucky because I got to my dance class late, but I got there, and I was really happy because I got to do what I love for an hour, so I was really grateful. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of the time I went to the hospital for self-harm. And before I end this video, I just wanted to say again, do not let my experience discourage you guys from receiving help. You are worthy of help, and I believe that any kind of self-harm, even superficial self-harm, is serious and is valid, and I believe it is deserving of help. And if you need medical attention, stitches, to get checked for an infection, please go to a doctor, please go to the hospital, because I want you to live and I want you to get help because you are beautiful and you matter. Anyway, guys, I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed this Mental Health Monday, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye, guys. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay positive, and you matter, and you're beautiful. Peace.